Hey everybody, this is Boone Wyatt. I'm with the 323 Concept Furniture Restoration. Today we're going to be looking at this power recliner, and I'm going to do a video series on just about everything I can think of on how to repair a power recliner. We're going to be looking at how to remove and replace a power reclining mechanism, how to replace the motor. We're going to be looking at how to replace the power switch that you can find on the side of these. And I'm also going to show you, not only can you replace that power switch, but you can replace that power switch with a power switch that has a USB port inside of it. That way you can just charge your phone from your recliner. So we'll also be showing you how to replace the foam padding inside of the recliner. We'll be showing you how to stuff the back pillow. So just about everything I could think of how to repair a power recliner. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in and start on the first part of the series. All right, everybody, like I said in this video, we are going to show you how to replace the 2-button power switch. This is one of the most common power switches I see on power recliners. Most of them are going to be about the same type of replacement. The concepts are all the same for the most part. If you do have any questions, don't forget to ask us. You can just comment below and we'll be happy to get back with you and see if we can't help you out if it's a little bit different. Some of them vary. Obviously, they're not all going to be the same. But this is going to show you how to replace these 2-button power switches. If you need help diagnosing your recliners, I'm going to post a link to the video. And also, you can click the link above if you need to diagnose it first. But this specific video is going to show you how to replace the power button switch. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so the first step is these 2-button power switches will have this little decorative cover. This is basically covering your screws. So first thing you want to do is twist that counterclockwise, and that's going to remove that. So usually those come off fairly easy, but if you see, it's just got 4 tabs, and those slide into these little female ports, and you twist it, and it'll lock into place real easily. So all you're gonna need to take this off is a Phillips screwdriver. Usually you can get by using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Every now and again, these are real small, so I may need a number 1, but I'm gonna go ahead and try my number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Yeah, those are pretty small, so I probably should be using a number 1, but with enough pressure, my number 2 Phillips is gonna work just fine. But usually that just comes out real easy. Usually there's about 3 or 4 screws on there. This one only had 2. But once you remove those screws, this pulls out just fine. And then from there, we're gonna flip the recliner over on its side, and we're going to take a look and see how it's fastened inside of the arm. Okay, so this recliner's got a very simple setup. As you can see, the power switch just comes through this hole in the arm here. And from there, it just comes through a little hole on this other side of the arm. Hard to see, but it's on this piece right here. It just comes through there. And from there, goes directly into our power motor right under here. So one way or the other, it may be routed a different way, but it's gonna come through the arm, and whichever way that manufacturer decided to route it, it could go anywhere in the arm, but ultimately it will end up plugging into your power motor down here. So we're just gonna remove this wire here. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, that power switch wire just goes directly into the side of the motor. Every now and again, you'll see one, your motor might have a wire that comes out like this and splits into 2 or 3 cables, in which case you would, it would just be plugged into, one of those 3 cables. So, but this other wire coming into the motor, that's your power that brings power to the actual motor, and then the switch gains its power from that basically and comes out of the mower back into your switch. So we're gonna take that out, and that just, like I said, feeds through this hole over here. Sometimes you'll see this wire. Typically what I see are several different clips. There's usually some little white clips that wrap around your wire, and they'll secure it to the frame, similar to this up here, but typically they'll just wrap around your wire, and they'll have a Phillips screw that hold it into place, in which case you'll just need your screw gun with a Phillips bit. And I would highly recommend getting at least a 6-inch extension bit. Some of those are hard to get otherwise. So, but anyways, we just get that wire out. Looks I'll have to get this other one out of here first. They're both not fitting through there. So let's get this wire out of the way. Like I said, that's just your power wire. There we go. All right, so now we've got enough room to slide this through. That just comes through, and this is just a grommet that went into the side of the arm to sort of protect the wire from just rubbing up directly on the wood. And basically that's it. As soon as you get that out, that'll just pull right out through the main hole, and your power switch comes out. And this is the fun part. So this is what I was talking about. We're gonna replace the 2-button power switch with this one here. If you notice, it's got a USB port in the middle. So when we replace that, it's going to have the option where you could just plug in any USB powered device, and that way you got power from your power switch now. So sort of a cool function. If you want to upgrade your regular 2-button power switch, this is just the operation, and this will give you a little bit of power for mobile devices. So basically from there, we're just gonna do that same reverse process. We're gonna feed our wire down through the arm. And I'll just toss this up there for now, but we'll install that here in just a moment. Then we'll feed it back down through the arm. And this is the hole that I was talking about in the arm. I just wanted to show y'all that. And that just feeds through there. No big deal. Okay. Okay, and one of the main things you want to do, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, definitely want to make sure that you unplug this, you're not working with any live power. This is all low voltage due to the transformers, but you still want to be careful and work with no power running to it until you're completely finished. That being said, when you're running this power switch into the motor, you want to be conscientious of how you run it. You don't want to get that wire in the way of any of these scissor springs. So that being said, usually what I'll do is I'll get some zip ties and I'll fasten it to the frame and just keep it out of the way. And that's probably the safest way to go, is just use a couple zip ties and keep it out of the way. So, all right. But we'll just plug it directly back into the motor. Get our switch plugged back in here. Get our power plugged back in, and that's gonna run right directly through that old hole. Same hole in the arm that I just showed you. There we go. And usually what I'll do is I'll take all the excess and I'll try to get as much out of the way of that mechanism as possible, and then you can sort of coil that up into the arm and zip tie that together as well. Another object you can use to fasten those wires together, and what I see a lot on these mechanisms, are these like the bread twisty ties. If you get some of those work real good as well. So like I said, the main thing is you want to make sure these wires are not routed anywhere in the way of when this operates. You know, when it kicks out, this scissor spring will splice these right in half if they're not routed correctly. So just pay attention when you're taking it apart, how it's routed, and just reroute it the same way. But just be conscientious of how it's routed and you'll be okay. So from there, that's pretty much all we've got there. I'm gonna flip this back over and we're gonna fasten that power switch back in place. Nothing out of the ordinary, just going to fasten these into place. And there should always be wood frame behind there that you should be able to hit, so. And we're just gonna add one extra since they only had 2 in there before. There we go. And from there, like I said, you've got your tabs on the back of your faceplate here. Those just line up with the female holes on there. And from there, you should just be able to twist it to the right and should be good to go. All right, everybody, that concludes our video on how to install the power switch. Coming up next time, I'm gonna show you how to install this recliner back onto the mechanism and also how to remove it, which comes in handy if you're moving locations, need to get the back off. It makes it a lot lighter and a little easier to maneuver through doorways. Hope you enjoyed our video this time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow along if you want to see future videos that we come out with. And stay tuned for our next video. We'd love to see you. Thanks.